Everybody has a short story that traumatized them, and today I'm going to be talking about A Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury, published in 1952. This story takes place in 2055 and follows a man named Eccles who signs up for a time travel safari. He's paying $10,000 to go hunt dinosaurs, and there's no guarantee of his safety. He'll have a guide with him named Travis and a few other people on the expedition, and there are very strict rules he has to follow. Disobeying these rules could result in getting in trouble with the government. Eccles makes a joke about the presidential election that just happened, saying that he's happy that it went the way it did, or else he'd be using this time travel to escape it. The guy who lost the election was a fascist, but luckily he lost, right? When they finally get to the past, there's a path they have to stay on, and Travis stresses that they absolutely cannot step off of this path for any reason. He explains that there's a risk of changing the future, even by killing one small bug. They're only allowed to shoot certain animals who have been pre-marked. These specific animals have been marked because they're apparently going to have a short life anyway, and their deaths won't affect the future. They briefly touch on time paradoxes, saying that time steps aside if there's a possibility of them meeting themselves in order to prevent that from happening. Once they're out of the time machine, they follow the path to where their marked T-Rex is, and they hear a sound of thunder. As the T-Rex approaches, Eccles freaks out, changes his mind, and is told to go back to the time machine, but he stumbles off of the path. The others on the safari take down the T-Rex, and it puts up a little fight, but the descriptions are so nasty and vivid. At this point, Eccles has made his way back to the time machine, and Travis is understandably furious and threatens to leave him there. Instead, he makes him dig the bullets out of the now dead T-Rex because they can't be left in the past. When they finally return, they can tell that the room they returned to is slightly off. When they read the sign for the company, it's still in English, but it's written phonetically, if that's the right word. And then Eccles notices in his boot that he stepped on a butterfly in the past, and he begins freaking out. Because if the sign changed, what else about the world has changed? And Travis warned him that even stepping on a small bug can change the course of history. Eccles then asks about the election that they were talking about earlier in the story, and he finds out that the fascist did win. Eccles begins begging to go back to try to fix it, and Travis just lifts his gun, and the story ends by saying there was a sound of thunder. This story was amazing, very enjoyable, a very quick and easy read, and it's a concept that has been explored in fiction since this came out. I mean, there's the movie The Butterfly Effect, but it's also been done in stuff like The Simpsons and Family Guy. To me, the thunder represents like impending danger or impending doom, because he hears it just before the T-Rex appears and when Travis lifts his gun. All in all, Ray Bradbury doesn't miss. I've covered a bunch of his stories and they're all really good. At this point, I can't even decide which one's my favorite.